Billionaire Elon Musk, who received a luxurious and ostentatious yacht as a gift on his birthday, will one day be humiliated by the waitress Mila on the yacht and will spend an unforgettable day. So much so that Mila is very valuable at that time. She learned a very valuable lesson at that moment, and her life changed. Life treated Mila very badly, and the feelings that arose inside her as a result will bring her face to face with Elon Musk. Shocking events will occur when the owner of the yacht, Elon Musk, appears after the insult of the waiter Milan. So let's start our story. Elon Musk's closest friends, Nohan, owned a legendary yacht. This yacht mesmerized everyone not only with its luxurious appearance but also with its impressive design and size. As a unique, custom-made creation, it was one of a kind, owned exclusively by Nohan. The yacht's deck, spacious lounges, and luxurious rooms made it feel like a floating palace. Numerous staff and officials worked on the yacht, doing their best to ensure the comfort and satisfaction of the guests. Elon and Nohan met on this magnificent yacht almost every day. On sunny mornings, they would go up to the deck early, bask in the sun, and sip their coffee over the sea. The time they spent on the yacht was always pleasant and fun. Elon frequently talked about how marvelous the yacht was while chatting with Nohan. Being on this specially designed yacht made him feel different. Nohan, too, was happy with his friend's admiration. Seeing Elon's joy made him feel good. One day, as they sat on the deck chatting, Nohan suddenly paused and, smiling, turned to Elon. "Hey buddy, when's your birthday?" "Sorry, I think I forgot," he said. Elon laughed and replied, "Actually, I don't remember yours either," making a joke. Then he mentioned his birth date. Nohan was surprised by what he heard. After doing the math, he realized that Elon's birthday was only a month away. The waitstaff on the yacht, however, were somewhat bothered by Elon's demeanor. Some of his actions and decisions in the business world did not sit well with them. Yet, instead of voicing their concerns, they chose to remain silent, as staying quiet seemed more reasonable in such an environment. Elon and Nohan were completely unaware of this, lost in their joyful conversations. As the days passed quickly, Nohan struggled with what to get Elon for his birthday. He didn't want to give him just an ordinary gift. After all, this was his closest friend, and he wanted to give him an unforgettable present. One day, while sitting in a cafe pondering the matter, his phone rang. It was the manager of his company in Turkey, informing him that he needed to come to Turkey for an urgent business meeting that would last a long time. This news sparked a bright idea in Nohan's mind. He had finally figured out what gift to give Elon, his own luxurious yacht. The decision filled Nohan with both excitement and sadness. He valued his yacht immensely, but friendship was more important than anything else. When Elon's birthday finally arrived, he had organized a grand celebration. Many people attended the lavish party held on the yacht. Nohan also attended and surprised Elon in a big way. "Buddy, I have to go to Turkey for work, but I haven't forgotten about you. I brought you a special gift," he said, handing Elon the yacht's key. Elon couldn't believe his eyes. He had never expected such a valuable gift. Excitedly, he hugged Nohan and thanked him repeatedly. "I'll never forget this," he said enthusiastically. Nohan smiled and replied, "You're my friend. You deserve the best of everything." However, Nohan had to leave for Turkey immediately. Elon accompanied his friend to the airport so he wouldn't have to leave alone. As they said their goodbyes, Elon thanked him again and wished him a safe journey. As Nohan took off toward Turkey, Elon returned to enjoy the rest of the birthday party. This unforgettable day once again reminded both of them of the true value of friendship. Elon had finally finished his work and came to Nohan's luxurious yacht to relax. Seeking peace, Elon planned to spend some time on the deck of the yacht. However, the crew was surprised and unsettled to see him arrive alone. Even though he was a familiar face regularly hosted by Nohan, the crew found Elon's behavior, as if he owned the yacht, inappropriate. Some of the staff whispered among themselves, saying, "Coming here so comfortably without Nohan is a great disrespect." No one knew that Nohan had transferred ownership of the yacht to Elon. Some even started to suspect that this was a form of theft. Elon stepped onto the deck and began sunbathing in a relaxed manner. However, a few crew members kept watching him, secretly laughing and gossiping behind his back. In their eyes, Elon was an overstepping guest, coming here without being the rightful owner. One crew member complained to his friends, "He's acting like he's the boss around here." Unaware of these whispers, Elon continued enjoying the sun. After a while, Elon politely asked Mila, one of the female waitstaff, to bring him a drink. Mila promptly fulfilled his request and handed the drink to Elon with a polite gesture. Elon thanked her and continued sunbathing. After finishing his time in the sun, he started wandering around different parts of the yacht. The tranquil sound of the sea and the yacht's serene atmosphere gradually eased his stress, but these peaceful moments didn't last long. One of the crew members accidentally dropped one of the jet skis into the water. Witnessing this, Elon immediately became furious and scolded the employee harshly. Elon wasn't a bad person, but due to the stress and demands of his work life, he sometimes overreacted. This time, he couldn't control his temper and ended up berating the crew member excessively. This situation further amplified the existing discomfort among the yacht's crew. Watching the incident closely, Mila could no longer hide her discomfort toward Elon. She thought to herself, "How dare he act like this on someone else's yacht?" The other crew members remained silent because Elon was Nohan's friend, but they were inwardly irritated by his behavior. Mila, however, felt the most disturbed. Having worked with Nohan for many years, Mila had built a small but peaceful life for herself thanks to him. Over time, she had even become friends with Nohan. While the other crew members were troubled by Elon's fame and success in the business world, Mila was mostly annoyed by his sudden and solitary arrival. Realizing the crew's unease, Elon suddenly understood that no one knew Nohan had transferred the yacht to him. He immediately stood up and called all the crew members to the deck with a loud voice. He was planning to explain the situation and put an end to this misunderstanding. But just as he was about to speak, his phone rang. The caller mentioned an urgent matter, so Elon had no choice but to answer the call. He asked the crew to wait for a short while and moved to the other side of the yacht to take the call. However, the call lasted much longer than expected. Elon ended up talking on the phone alone for an entire hour, and his voice began to test the crew's patience. Among themselves, they started saying things like, "He gathered us here for nothing," and "He must be joking with us." But since no one wanted to lose their job, they continued waiting in silence. When Elon finally returned, it was obvious from his expression that he was angry. The person on the phone had clearly upset him. Seeing the gathered crew, he looked surprised and, still irritated, yelled, "Why aren't you working? Are you just standing around chatting?" Apparently, Elon had completely forgotten that he had called them together. Frustrated by the situation, the crew glared at him with angry eyes before slowly dispersing. Mila, however, was even more furious. She still couldn't accept Elon's behavior and continued to harbor resentment toward him. The tension on the yacht had become increasingly palpable, and it wouldn't take long for Elon to notice it. Elon had been sunbathing for a while. The warmth of the weather and the sun's effect had relaxed him, but suddenly his throat became dry. He wanted to get something to drink. Since there was no one around, he turned to Mila, who was the only person nearby. Elon humbly asked her to bring him a drink. Mila, irritated, reacted without saying a word and went to the kitchen to get the drink. However, while in the kitchen, the staff members provoked Mila and fueled her anger even more. They complained about Elon's attitude and behavior, sharing their negative thoughts about him. This made Mila's inner anger grow even more. As Mila returned with the drink, her eyes were filled with rage. As she walked slowly, she lost control of her steps and, unable to keep her balance, dropped the glass on the floor. The glass hit the ground, and the sound of it shattering shattered the surrounding silence. This situation ended up pushing Elon to his breaking point, and he began scolding Mila harshly. This created significant tension, both for Mila and the staff around them. Elon's anger stemmed, as always, from his perfectionist and controlling attitude. He never forgave mistakes, and he didn't want to overlook this small accident. To him, everything had to be perfect, and this accident was adding more pressure on him. However, as usual, instead of immediately getting angry, he paused for a moment. He experienced a deep, internal conflict. Was his anger really because of Mila's small mistake, or was it the result of something else? While Elon reacted to Mila, he began to question his past mistakes. He started blaming himself. He had made so many mistakes over the years and been harsh toward others that Mila's anger was deeply rooted in something beyond this situation. Was his anger truly caused by Mila's mistake, or was it the consequences of his past wrongs? No matter how hard Elon tried, this question remained unanswered. Mila had now lost her patience. Elon's belittling and scolding had affected her deeply. In an instant, she decided to release all the anger she had been holding in and started insulting him without thinking. For the next 3 minutes, she continuously hurled insults at Elon. Every word she said felt like a heavy blow to him. The other staff members in the cabin watched this great conflict in shock. None of them intervened, perhaps because they were afraid of Elon's strong personality. Or maybe they stayed silent because they believed Mila was right. Mila's insults affected not only Elon but also all the staff around them. However, no one had the courage to say anything. This led to everyone becoming silent, and a tense atmosphere filled the space. Each word from Mila made the pressure on Elon grow even more. Such an explosive outburst unexpectedly brought the tension within everyone to the surface. After finishing her insults, Mila took a deep breath and shouted at Elon, "You've already disturbed us with so many of your actions. Isn't it enough? Now you're scolding us on someone else's yacht." These words reverberated among the staff. One by one, they began to speak up for their own rights. Some of them expressed that they could no longer ignore Elon's behavior. What they had tolerated up to now, along with this recent event, had pushed them to the breaking point. Elon, at that moment, thought once again. With a deep sigh, he experienced an internal reflection. Despite all the insults and belittling, he had to confront the thoughts rising from within. The first thing that came to mind was ignoring the advice given to him on Nohan's yacht. The tension in this moment was not just an external conflict, it was a reflection of Elon's internal struggles. His many mistakes over the years had given Mila's anger and insults a sense of justification. At that moment, Elon realized the impact of every mistake he had made and began to reevaluate his past behaviors. Finally, after taking a deep breath, Elon quietly began to descend into the lower deck of the yacht. At that moment, a silence settled among the staff. No one knew what to do. The air seemed to freeze for a few seconds. The atmosphere in the cabin became heavy and tense. Everyone was anxiously waiting for the next step. Something had definitely shifted, though no one could predict what would happen next. This tense moment would leave deep marks on everyone aboard. For a month, the atmosphere inside the yacht had calmed down significantly after the tensions that had occurred. The crew continued with their daily tasks and no one tried to draw too much attention. However, one morning, everything changed when the yacht's phone rang. Mila quickly answered and she heard Nohan's voice. At first, she thought it would be a casual conversation about how much Nohan missed her or when he would return. But Nohan, laughing, said, "I've been busy with work in Turkey for a long time. I've handed the yacht over to Elon Musk." And Mila was shocked. The mention of Elon Musk made her realize how quickly everything could change. For a few seconds, she tried to process what Nohan had said, but she remained silent due to the shock. Finally, she managed to say, "What? The yacht?" Nohan continued the phone call and explained the reason for the call. Mila was to immediately send a document from her house by mail. Mila, still in shock, said, "Of course," and hung up. There was great uncertainty in her eyes. The news about the yacht's new owner had turned everything upside down. After a brief pause, Mila gathered the crew on the deck. Amid everyone's shocked expressions, she began to explain. The yacht had been transferred to Elon Musk a month ago, and Nohan had gone to Turkey to handle his business. This news deeply affected every crew member. Everyone had the same question in mind. Elon Musk owns a yacht, but why? The shock that Mila felt echoed through the crew. One of them approached Mila and asked, "But you insulted Elon. What's going to happen now?" This question intensified Mila's feeling of regret. Every action she had taken against Elon might have had a very high price. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, the crew immediately began searching for a solution. They thought about what they could do and how they could approach Elon. They decided to organize a celebration. "Let's have a celebration. Maybe we can make him happy," they said. Work started on every corner of the yacht. On the deck, preparations for decoration began, and in the kitchen, meals were being prepared. But there was one problem. How would they reach Elon? The yacht's owner, Elon Musk, led such a busy life that contacting him seemed almost impossible. While the crew prepared for the celebration, they also tried every possible way to solve this difficult task. Sending an email was an option, but following up on Elon Musk's emails was a challenge. Still, they couldn't find another way. While Mila was laying out the events, she began to experience deep indecisiveness. She was deeply regretful for the insults and bad treatment she had shown toward Elon. As she thought about how to make amends for such a big mistake and how to approach Elon, a feeling of fear and shame began to build inside her. She wanted to apologize, but at the same time, there was a fear of getting herself into even bigger trouble. She also searched for a chance to fix what she had done to him. However, as she thought about how difficult it would be to take a step toward Elon, she fell into an emotional void. Deciding to organize a celebration seemed like an escape. Perhaps this celebration would be an opportunity to convince Elon and regain his trust. While trying to manage all the preparations, Mila was also facing an internal conflict. As she thought about how wrong her actions toward Elon had been, she found herself in a deadlock. On one hand, she was thinking about what she should do to make amends, and on the other hand, she wondered if these efforts would only get her into more trouble. While her inner conflict continued, Mila also continued to coordinate the crew and oversee the celebration preparations. Her leadership role was still very important to the team, but at the same time, she was trying to cope with her inner regret. Slowly, the preparations for the celebration were coming together. However, the question marks in Mila's mind remained. Was it the right move to approach Elon, apologize, and take a step to rectify her past mistakes? Could this celebration really solve all the problems, or would it lead to an even bigger disaster? These questions kept spinning in Mila's mind, causing her to be trapped in an internal battle with every passing second. 5. Mila quickly set off to fulfill Nohan's task. As she thought about where she was going, the complex emotions building up in her mind made her quicken her pace, even as she tried to figure out what to do. Delivering the document to Nohan's house was the result of all the events that had deeply affected her. Inside her, there was a desire to make up for past mistakes and a fear of facing the unknown. Between these emotions, uncertainty slowed her down as she walked faster. However, the curiosity about what would happen next pushed her steps forward. When Mila arrived at Nohan's house, she took a deep breath. She hesitated for a moment before pulling the key out of her bag. With trembling hands, she inserted the spare key into the lock, but as usual, the door didn't open. She thought the lock had been changed and took another deep breath. Is someone there? She thought. She could sense that things wouldn't go as expected, and a new surprise was waiting for her at every moment. Instead of knocking, she paused for a few seconds and then gathered her courage. The door suddenly started to open very slowly. Mila stepped back in shock, unable to believe her eyes. The person opening the door was someone she never expected, Elon Musk. She was so unprepared that she didn't know what to say. Both ashamed and excited, her eyes welled up. Elon, smiling, said, "Where have you been?" "I've been waiting for you." Mila struggled to collect herself, unable to say a word for several seconds. Finally, when she regained her composure, she and Elon got into the car. The excitement and fear inside her intensified with every passing minute. As the car moved, Mila was filled with the thought of apologizing. She wanted to make up for her past mistakes, but she was deeply afraid of how this would be received. Her regret mixed with the tears streaming down her face. At one point, unable to hold it in, she started to cry. Elon calmly said, "Please, calm down. I'm not angry with you." These words brought Mila some comfort. However, no matter how complicated the truth was, this relief was only temporary. When they got out of the car and looked outside, Mila froze again when she saw the yacht. It was really there. The sky had darkened and everything around them had been taken over by the night. The lights on the yacht highlighted how surreal everything felt. Elon looked at her and said, "Come on, beautiful girl, you're going to be happy today." Mila got out of the car, still in shock, and started wondering how everything would unfold. Slowly, they headed toward the yacht's deck. The sound of music started playing cheerfully in her ears. Inside the yacht, there was a full celebration atmosphere. When Mila stepped inside, she was in shock. Employees and other people approached her cheerfully, shouting, "Happy birthday, Mila." At that moment, everything seemed to come together, and Mila was once again stunned. The celebration on the yacht was in full swing. The only familiar face among them was Nohan. Nohan approached Mila and asked, "Did you like our surprise?" Mila, still in shock, smiled and said, "Please, tell me what's going on." A tension arose between Elon and Nohan. They both looked at each other and said, "I'll explain it." In the end, Nohan decided to tell everything. Nohan, smiling, said, "2 months ago, we found out it was your birthday. We all decided to play this game. We wanted you to have a celebration." Mila, trying to understand, asked, "So, everything I'm experiencing right now was a game?" Nohan, laughing, said, "Yes, you got it right. Everything was part of the plan." Elon interrupted Nohan and added, "By the way, the yacht wasn't a gift to me. It's for you, Mila." These words shocked Mila once again. The birthday surprise and the yacht being gifted to her was truly hard to believe. Slowly, her eyes filled with tears, and she began to feel a great sense of relief. That night, everyone had a lot of fun. Until midnight, a huge party was held on the yacht's deck. Mila's life had truly changed that night. She had quickly transitioned from a difficult life to a luxurious one. The yacht was now hers, and it was a reality she could never have imagined. This was the end of our story. For more videos like this about Elon Musk, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. Feel free to leave your ideas in the comments, and you can also give me story ideas for future videos. Goodbye.